My name's Tyler Herbert. I'm a captain at Jazz in Calgary, and I fly the Q400. I knew I wanted to be a pilot when I was growing up. I was fascinated by aircraft. The first time I ever flew on an aircraft, I was actually older than most kids. I was probably 12 or 13 years old, and we flew to LA, and it was on an Air Canada 737. And I just remember that being like the coolest part of the vacation. I didn't really even care about Disneyland. And after that, I was hooked. I just loved everything about aviation. So I grew up in a city south of Calgary called Lethbridge. And after I was done high school, initially I went to university. I wasn't sure exactly how to get into aviation. So during my year at university, I did some research and found that there was a flight school in Lethbridge called Excel Flight Training. And I met my instructor, a fellow jazz pilot named Sheena. And she took me on a discovery flight, and that was it. I was hooked. And so I attended Excel for about 2.5 years. After I was done, I got my first job working at Excel as a flight instructor. And after that, I went to Manitoba, and I got a job working for a company called Mississippi Airways, and we operated Navajos and King Airs flying medevac mostly. I was the first officer in the King Air for about 6 months, and then I got upgraded to a captain on the King Air, and I flew as a captain at Mississippi for about 2 years. And in 2015, I came and joined Jazz, and my initial job was first officer on the dash based out of Vancouver. I've been a captain at Jazz for 1.5 years, and the experience upgrading was awesome. I had a wonderful sim partner named John. He's lives in Halifax actually. So we went to Toronto, and we were both coming off the classic dash going onto the Q. The course was awesome. By the time we were done, I was fairly confident on the Q, and then of course after that you go to line and dock, and you start flying the line with other captains who have been flying as captains for a long time, just a wealth of knowledge. And so you fly with them for a few weeks, and once you feel you're ready and they feel you're ready, they cut you loose. So a normal work day always starts 1 hour before departure. End up finding your crew, and then usually the first order of business is to sit down, meet everyone if you haven't met yet, and then you'll go through a crew briefing where you'll look through the flight plan, and you'll discuss an emergency topic for the month. You'll discuss any other communications things you would like to talk about. And once that's done, usually it's off to the airplane. We'll go walk up to the gate, and that's when we'll start doing our daily inspections of the airplanes, walk-arounds, programming all the computers, that type of thing. And after that, the passengers come on board, close up the door, push back, and we're on our way. Working for Jazz is the first time in my career where I've had a flight management system, or FMS as we call it. It is everything from your GPS, where you'll plug in your flight plan, to your fuel calculations in there, weight and balance calculations are in there. It's all done by a computer. You just punch in the information and it spits it out on a piece of paper. Then of course there's the HUD, which we have in our Q400s, which last piece in front of you, and it kind of draws all of your information like altitude and airspeed and attitude on there, so you can shoot what we can do a Cat 3 approach here at Jazz using that. I find a lot of people, a misconception is that they think they can't do it for various reasons. They think it's too expensive, or they just don't know how to get started. So a lot of people think that it's outside their grasp, which it isn't. There's a lot of ways that you can become a pilot. There's a whole bunch of great college programs in Canada. We have one here in Calgary through the Mount Royal flight program, which is fantastic. We have a lot of pilots at Jazz who graduated from there. Out in Ontario, there's a bunch of programs as well. There's one in Thunder Bay, one in Sault Ste. Marie, one, of course, Seneca, just north of Toronto. There's one in Waterloo as well. And if that's not your style, the college program, pretty much every city is going to have at least one, possibly more, flight schools where you can go do your training at your own pace on your own time. I think my favorite part of being a captain at Jazz is honestly the people I get to work with. It's so much fun going to work, and once you're at a base for a while and you start to get to know people, that's the greatest thing. You go to work and you already know who you're working with, and what their likes and dislikes are, and what's going on in their lives. And you may only work with them a few times a year, but it's a great opportunity to catch up on how things are going with them. And yeah, I would say that's my favorite part about being captain here, is just getting to work with amazing people.